episode number 12 of the Arbitrage Radio podcast. I'm so excited. We have someone on that has personally made my wife and I's business a good bit of money, and just a good person just a good person. You can just stop there. And she has a cute dog, and she's very, very good at what we do and what we're talking about. My friend AJ, everyone. AJ, thank you so much for coming on and talking to us.
You're welcome.
We're on episode number 12, but this is technically episode number 22, and James won't let me change the name to that. Nope. But I like to just throw that out there every once in a while. Anyways, we recently did a hey, we're live. Hey, Brian. We started a series 0 to 10K, and we did an episode on that, and then we did an episode from 10K to 25K, what we would do if we were stuck at that 10K level and we were going to 25K, and then we did, then this is the third episode in the series, and we're talking about sellers who are established, who are, kind of, doing a good job. They figured some stuff out. They're at 25,000, and they want to go from 25,000 to 50,000, and we're talking about monthly revenue. So we thought we'd have you on. Anyways, before we get into all that, is your dog still running around?
He's somewhere. I could try to get him.
If he comes around, show him to everybody,
okay.
Because that's a cute puppy.
He's my tax write-off.
I love it. So with all that said, how long have you been reselling? How did you get into this? What's your story?
I honestly forgot how long I've been doing it. It's probably going on like 7 years. Kind of like, I think like everybody does, they start dabbling in eBay. So probably like eBay a little longer, but then I kind of stopped. And then I started Amazon probably about, 6 or 7 years ago. Kind of went into that. And then, obviously, Walmart kind of, teetered into that. It took me a lot of convincing. And I kind of feel
it took a while.
Yeah, a long while. But I want to say like I'm on year 2 fully on Walmart. I mean, I did sign up for Walmart, and it took me a year to actually post anything on because I was so like anti, because they're so behind. They were so behind on the times. So
I hear that a lot, and I felt that way. I had a Walmart account before most of anybody else that I know. Like I had one really early, and I just fumbled so hard with it. We had stuff listed merchant fulfilled forever, and we had a shelf where every time we get a Walmart shelf, we're just like, something sold for Walmart. That's wild because we it felt like for more than a year they had the issue where it would oversell, and you would have inventory where it would sell, and then you'd be happy about it, and then it would sell again, and you're like, what the crap, I don't have that anymore because I sold it the first time. And so like we were scared to really try to get serious with it. And so like we're real similar to that popped up on our screen. That was so cool.
Yeah. I know how to do it now.
I'm sorry. This is everybody, this is our first live stream, it'll pop up on here. Good. I had it ready over here. So all right, so 25,000. How would you go, AJ? You're at 25K. You feel good about it. You kind of told some family members, hey, I'm doing this. You're profiting some, something real every month. On that 25K, but your heart's telling you to go for it. I want to double. I want to go to 50K. Like what? First of all, are you thinking multi-channel, or like how would you do it? What's some advice from AJ?
So I think it's mostly looking at what you currently sell and seeing like if you're wanting to stay in that category. So if you sell like toys exclusively, do you want to, facilitate looking at what else is on the horizon? Do you want to dabble into baby products? Do you want to dabble into, foods? I think we all start off with foods when we're starting off in Amazon, right? Well, that's like the easiest to get ungated in. So I think it's just basically knowing what you're willing to push yourself. I do a lot of test runs where like I'll purchase a few items and I'll say, let me just see if this works. If it doesn't sell in a week, I'm dumping it and moving on to something else. But if I see that by the time I list something and I'm, driving home, and it's already, picking up traction, I'm immediately doing as many pickup orders as I possibly can. I'm ordering it from whoever, to get in on the momentum. Because I think that's what it is. It's like you're just trying to figure out what works with your business model. So what works for me might not work for James, might not work for Cody, might not work for, the regular person. But I don't like to stay in my lane, where I don't like to stay in the focus of, I only want to sell toys or I only want to sell Legos. I'm looking at, what is my longevity, like what is the hit items that are out right now? As you guys know, I don't really post anything online. I keep to myself because I like to keep people on their toes. But I also look at, is this a profitable item? I'm not going to do all this legwork if I'm only going to be making peanuts, if it's only like a couple of dollars. I think that that's where my mindset has changed. I tend to do a lot of like, I think, some of the individuals are talking a lot about doing like Walmart to Walmart. I feel like that is, a big plus. I have a lot of friends that will focus on stuff like Big Lots and Ollie's and all that stuff. And I kind of veered away from those. I kind of like, my main source has been like my, Walmart primarily, honestly. And just doing my due diligence, research on what products are profitable and which ones are not. Or, for instance, are we in a shortage of supplies, or, where can we make that, revenue? Everybody's different. It's just, some people like to sell, baby products all day long or vacuums. I just don't want to deal with the returns on certain things anymore. So I've kind of just, focused on necessities, what is important. I know that we're going into this whole, shortage with, toys that are going to be happening for the holidays, and people are freaking out about that as far as, are we going to be able to get a lot of our stuff from China timely? So, I'm looking at what is coming out. What are longevity toys like Little Tykes, those kinds of brands
Sure.
that have been around a long time, what movies are out, those kinds of things, and kind of just, riding those waves.
Hit items.
Yeah.
You said hit. I wrote that down because I think like people are like, what do you sell? And it's like, well, there was a Sonic movie, right? And all the rich families in the United States went to the movie theater and they paid $60 for a movie ticket and a Sonic movie popcorn thing. And then they went home and they bought the movie, and then they got Netflix or whatever it's on, and their kids, these rich kids, are sitting around wanting to be Sonic or Tails or one of the other figures so bad. And so, like, what else do they probably want? Well, maybe a Sonic action figure, and then a Sonic beach towel. They want to dress like Sonic. Yeah, and the plush. Yeah, and so, any advice, like, how do you find those? Obviously, Sonic movie is not right now. That's
right.
Earlier this year, but or maybe it was last year. I don't know. I never saw it. Yeah, but my kids didn't see it either. I don't think so. I must not be the rich American family yet. But how do you find the hit item? It's May, whatever the date. You wake up. What? How do you know what that hit item is? What's your process?
Like, I'm looking at when I go in the store. Why is the shelf empty? Why is there not a lot here? Like, what's going on? I'm looking at, like, different avenues of, like, what, movies are coming out, what, and your children talk. They'll tell you, like, hey, this toy or this, or, those kinds of things. But I'm doing my due diligence research. I spend quite a bit of time on, first thing in the morning while I'm drinking my coffee, looking up, like, what's going on here, like what movies are coming out, what new products are coming out, do I see a hype around it, do I not see a hype? Obviously I'm not going to go and buy, like, things like where people are massively over here, at least in certain parts of my state, like people are going crazy buying a lot of toilet paper. I'm not going to sell toilet paper. I don't have time for that.
Right. Yeah. That
You know
didn't.
what I mean? Like, but I'm looking at, I've kind of changed my model a lot, and I think a lot of it has to do with James, where he's like, send everything in, which has freed up a lot of mentality for me. So,
Sure.
That way it's like he always says, send it in and forget about it. But make sure your prices are accurate, because you don't want to send something in when you're, changing it over and you're like putting everything at like $10 to convert it, when you need to make sure that your prices are right. But I'm looking at what are, things that we want, what are things that are, our children want, what do our pets want, certain things that are like, for instance, a lot of people are buying cooling, pads for their pets, because we live in, at least where I live in the state of Florida, like, it's hotter than it's ever been, right? So what are things that are people going to want to buy to, take care of their pets, their children? You'll see a lot of portable fans that are selling very high right now. Those things that go around your neck, or you can clip on,
Sure.
Those kinds of things. So you have to also look at what are you at seasonal wise? Like, are we, summertime? You're looking at like beach time, pool time, those kinds of things, and assessing like, what are people after?
It's so simple when you say it like that. It's just like, what are people willing to pay up
You
for?
gotta
Like,
research, and that's like,
It's
it's not something that
it's convenience.
right.
Right. That's what Amazon and Walmart is for people. It's convenience. All you're doing,
Click.
especially when you're flipping the regular price stuff, right? They're paying for the convenience of you having found that item. So that fits in all of those different things, right? The hot movie, right? You spent the time to go find it, either buy it online, go to store to find it, whatever. Beach towel, you spent the time to go find it. You found the specific one that these people want, that all of a sudden, maybe when Garfield came out, like they had these hoodie things that were Garfield, and like I did pretty good on those. Like it was probably summertime last year, I think, when that movie came out. So like that seasonal situationalness can pull you a lot of money, especially if you're in a lot of stores, like all three of us are. We tend to do mostly RA, so it's you see kind of what people are moving.
I think RA is a lot easier to know what is trending, because online, you can look at something like, for instance, if you're on Walmart, it says in 50 people's baskets or in their carts or whatever, but is that really a hit item? I don't really think so. Like, you know what I mean? So it's like hit or miss, right? So for me, it's more so about getting in front of the store and kind of gauging, like, and you start to see a trend when you start to go in a store and you're like, hey, this toy, this like Lego, Minecraft toy or whatever, there's nothing here at this one. And you scan it and you're like, oh, it's out of stock in pretty much all the stores. Let me take a deeper dive and see who else carries it. So I think a lot of it is like process of elimination and kind of gauging like what is going on and being on top of your stores, because I know that we all go to our usual stores, like 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever is in our area, and we get to see like what days that they replenish, what days, and kind of gauging like what is missing off the shelves. At least that's how I
100%.
gauge it.
Yeah, and you can do it in real time. Like, so many people talk crap about retail arbitrage because they're like, you gotta drive to the stores and blah blah blah. But it's like, you're not just going to shop. You're going to learn and like understand the market. Like there's there's something to be said. Like you're talking about empty spots on shelves. My friend Anthony talks about this. He's like, he says, as I'm walking through each aisle, and he does RA pretty heavy. He does like the clearance stuff. He's looking for the stuff that's just marked way down. He's like, I'm looking for what's new, what's super old from 6 months ago that I know they clearanced out before. I'm looking for that. I'm looking for empty shelf, empty spots on the shelves. And you can gather all that data in real time, store to store to store, and like that's where magic happens, because the wholesalers who bought all their inventory 90 days ago or 6 months ago, or some of them a year in advance. They can't do that. They can't they can't make a plan for the day, go to the first store, and then realize, oh crap, there's this $10 toy that's selling for $40 and it's selling immediately. They can't immediately pivot, go buy all of those, and that's where
inventory. So they end up getting stuck with it because they can't. I like to call it churn and burn. I want to churn through my stuff and find something else and move on. And I want to get in. So I won't. Now I've gotten to the mainframe of, sending 90% of my stuff into WFS, but 10% I hold on, and those are usually like the ones that I know that I've got to get in and get the hell out because the tankers are going to be following.
Yeah, that's. I mean, we're selling products that. Before I say my thought, I'm so excited right now. I don't know if you can see it on my face, but I'm seeing the YouTube and I'm seeing people commenting. It's like, this is it. This is what we're supposed to be doing. This is working. This is amazing. Anybody watching live, ask us questions and we'll try to get to them at the end. But now I don't even remember what I was going to say. But I think retail arbitrage is super valid. But don't if you can't go to stores every day, don't be disappointed or feel like you can't do it either, because if you're stuck at a job or whatever, you can still participate in this arbitrage thing. I do this every day, and I've done it every day for years, finding leads for the group that I own, the Bolo Club, product placement, but From your computer, you can go reverse storefront stock. You can look at smart sellers. What are they buying? What are they up to? You can see that data on your computer screen. You can use things like Google Trends. You can use things like TikTok. Culture vulture channels that are looking at the Labubus and the different
culture vulture channels.
Culture vulture channels. They make content on the stuff that's popping right now. They're looking for
Never heard of that before.
Yeah, it's the people who they're trying to get those viral videos going where they're you've seen them, the video where the guy's I found this Labubu in Ross, and it's a 4-second clip.
Planted there, I don't believe some of those.
Something's up, yeah. But that channel,
at TJ Maxx, come on now, we know that they just put them there. You know what I mean?
Exactly. But the fact that whoever is making that content and putting it together, they've figured out something like Labubu that people are, which is hilarious to say, Labubu. But they figured out something like that's clever, that gets people interested, and
reaching them.
You can then, you take that keyword, plug it into eBay solds, plug it into Amazon, .com, the customer facing one, look for what are these going for, and so you go from there. You can look into mom groups. Early on with the Stanley craze, you could figure out, without paying anybody, just go in these free Facebook groups and figure out that the plum skin colored blah 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 whatever is going to be worth it. And so you can do that while you're sitting on the toilet. You can do that while you're watching Cocomelon with your kids. If you're smart enough, you can be ahead of those tankers, and you can find those trends. And it's not the only way to do it. Doing the trending seasonal, new stuff that everybody's it's not the only way to do it. But AJ, you shared one on Easter, and I won't say what it was, just so nobody can track you down. But there was an Easter product that was super seasonal. I think you said you found it on a content type place, and then you made a listing for it, and you were the only seller, and I think it was $99 was the buy cost. You're selling it for $300 and something, and you shared what you're selling. I was like, holy crap, that's the smartest thing I've ever heard.
Getting a
you're gonna make so much money.
Best thing I ever did for myself, because he is phenomenal. When I tell you, making my listings, making sure that they go right on Google. I mean, my listings, and I have other friends that have VS too. So when you have that, they're so knowledgeable. And I'm not saying everybody has to get one, right? I was just in the place where I realized I needed one, right? But I think it's very helpful when somebody can make your listing sometimes surpass the Walmart original listing, So But it's also knowing, some, like you said, finding out in some of these, like, you know, Hobby Lobby groups. These women are crazy in there, you know what I mean? Like, they'll tell you stuff, there's a dupe of it at Walmart, that's when you got to be, on top of things. So I'm constantly perusing, like, the Stanley group, the, Hobby Lobby, the Walmart, the Target, whatever it is, to see, like, what is it that people are saying, like, I can't find this. Where is this sold at? It's stocked by me. Can someone ship it to me and I'll pay them shipping? And I'm like, ding, ding, ding. So you have to be able to, even though like you do retail arbitrage, at least for me, I still have to have that content of like, looking up, online information to kind of gauge, like, is this worth me spending, dropping $1,000 on a product or more, so it's kind of one of those things.
100%. Yeah. Also, coupon. I've shared this before on my social medias, but like Telegram. Go like join, follow anybody. There's 13 people watching us right now. Holy crap, we're so famous, AJ. James, we're famous.
They're probably not watching for me. They're probably watching for you guys and how to make.
No, they're here for you. I'm telling you.
Oh, I doubt.
But you follow. What's the freebie guy?
Coupon Queen is my favorite.
She's good.
Yeah.
Yeah. You follow her, and then because you followed her, you've hacked the algorithm. Now the algorithm, they're like, oh, Cody likes these coupon pages, and so you're gonna get fed their best piece of content.
And with them too, because like I talk to her and I'll say, hey, da da da, and sometimes she'll tell me, hey, this is over here, on clearance, blah blah blah, so like you build a rapport with them, and like when like, I mean, she's made Ross like the penny deal thing, 49 cents, like so like on point and stuff, right? But I don't have the energy to fight people over 49 cents. I'd rather be in Walmart while they're going crazy, right? But I just think it's like knowing what your niche is and what are you willing to put out financially. Give yourself some time to say, hey, if I don't sell this in 30 days or whatever, what is my next steps? Like, I don't want to hold on to inventory that's not moving. I'll just send it into Walmart and be done with it, right? But Squishmallows used to be huge. Like, I would bank in so much stuff, right? But looking at like bundles and talking to, I ended up getting like a spend credit for marketing, like $2,000. And then as soon as I was done with that, I got another $2,000. And I was like, what is this? So I like banked on that, but like being able to talk to them and finding out like, hey, how do I get on the main page of like Black Friday? Because I was a question of mine where like, I was trying to get rid of all my Squishmallows that I had left over that were not like stale inventory. And I was like, how did this person that is a seller selling a bundle of like a 3-pack or a 5-pack of Squishmallows on Black Friday on their own listing? It wasn't like, a Walmart.com or, a manufacturer company like Little Tikes or whatever. It was like a Joe Schmo third-party person selling their own listing. So, building these relationships too with people at Walmart has been very instrumental for me, because I do a lot more business with Walmart than I do with Amazon now, just because it literally, obviously everything's being regated and I don't have the energy or the manpower to deal with, trying to get ungated of 300 plus items, right? So I feel like Walmart, get in now while you can, try to figure out what it is that you can sell. And if you can only buy a certain amount, like $100 worth of items, just keep testing and testing until you see that it works. I don't
wide not deep, right?
Yeah. Don't go deep until you have to. And I mean, when I find out something that is doing very well, I'll go deep. I don't care. I'll charge out my credit cards. You know what I mean? And like, obviously, because I know what I'm going to be making. I already know like what my shipping costs are going to be. Now I'm in this shipping pilot program, which has helped me, with certain things. Because obviously, we want to be like the A to Z, claims and stuff like that with, Amazon. But it's just knowing what works for you. What works for me might not work for, the either of you or anybody else. But it's been a lot of trial and error, and I think that's what it's about. And don't feel discouraged. You just have to keep testing to see what works.
Yeah, I totally agree. Yeah, and another piece of advice, just because I feel obligated to say this every chance that I can put anywhere on content, you're trying to scale from 25,000 to 50,000 a month. Don't put all the responsibility for that growth on credit. Like, be responsible with credit. Like, don't, if it takes you 6 months longer, but you're not over leveraged, it's totally worth it. Like, plenty of people have $50,000 in, credit card limits, but please don't go use it if you don't have some cash to back that up. And, I'm not saying don't ever use credit. I'm just saying be so careful, because, you're feeling real good at 25,000. You're like, I'm a genius. Like, I have figured out, this whole thing. But you might not have learned some things, and like some pitfalls that you can go into, and things that I've fallen into is you see a great opportunity and you're like, I'm gonna go deep, but then you like the rug pulls out from under you, and then all of a sudden either a liquidator gets a hold of the product, or it gets shared publicly on a Facebook page or something like that. Please don't do that.
Complaint, and they cut Lanky Box out under your feet, and you're stuck with 15 ghosts. It happens.
Yeah. Or if it's I've heard this story, and I'm I just want to say it again. Like, I've heard this story. You're doing good. You get a line of credit. You go crazy. You spend it all in a month. And then you spend it on stupid crap, because you're like, you start negotiating. You're like, I'm not going to buy the home run stuff. I'll just buy the mid stuff. And then you're like, well, this is kind of break even, but I know it'll move fast. And then all of a sudden, it's not moving fast, or it's 30% lower than that, and like you can get in a lot of trouble. So, obligatory. Don't use credit irresponsibly.
It's enticing when Walmart sends you these like, hey, you want $50,000, but here's your every 2-week payment reimbursement. I'm like, nah, I'm good. One time, and it was like, it was great, and it helped me. You know what I mean? Like, take it, to the next level. But it's not something that I recommend, because it's very like enticing.
Yeah, you can get in real hot water real fast. I just. I tell people be so careful with that. What else? All right, so we're at 25K. What do we need to know? James, I'm curious. I just thought about how y'all are so close to each other. How do you deal with having like such a big seller in your backyard? Y'all are pretty close, right?
Really, we don't even really cross paths, and like.
Well.
Sometimes I go into your area, but maybe I should.
My partner goes and sources that area every now and again.
She's been nice. She actually gave me a tip
every Tuesday.
Yeah. No, and I personally sourced your area probably like 6 months ago, and I found a lot of the stuff that I sell. But I didn't find all the stuff you sell, because we're not 100%
on the same page.
We're not selling the same stuff in most cases.
But
like
that's good,
the Big Bolo stuff, we share a lot of stuff back and forth, and especially with Barbie too, because she's down there a little farther. So we pretty much clear like half of the state between the three of us.
But we got some heavy hitters in the Orlando area too. So like I've got my own, like somebody that makes a lot more than I do that I'm competing with. So
Joey's there too, and he's a big time RA guy, and he comes into my area too. The Ollie's guys, they run the whole state, right? So we just all figure out what we're doing, and we kind of stick to our own areas. I feel like
stay in our lanes,
in our categories.
If you're in like a rural place that's like 45 minutes drive to like a big city that has all the stuff, but also you have access to all the the places, the Walmarts that are 25 minutes from each other in a circle, like I am. RA is a lot simpler than it is for you guys, because like there's nobody in my immediate area. Like, if they are, they're not doing RA, and so like I have a pretty I have a pretty good setup where I'm at.
Let's rub it in now. Let's rub it in.
Yeah, don't drive where I'm at. Leave it.
Yeah.
Hey,
And what makes it different is that, like James and I, for instance, I don't source at the same places that he does. So, I might add in, and especially now, like you got Joann's that's closing in a week, in our area. So it's like, I don't want to be buying 50,000 things of yarn. You just got to look, you know what I mean? Like, I don't want to be stuck with certain things like that, but it's just like knowing what your products are that you're willing to sell. And
I will say some yarn moves on Walmart, though.
Yeah.
I have sold it. I might have some listed. It does sell, but I don't want to be that person either.
Yeah, I don't want to be stuck with,
especially those big rolls. Like, imagine prepping those for WFF. No thanks.
I'm good. I don't need any
Somebody
yarn.
else can do that.
I think it's just knowing like what your forte is that you like to sell. And like I've changed my whole mindset. I like things that are small, that make a lot of money, and that they're light and they're easy to ship. I don't want big, bulky, crappy things that I'm only going to get like $5 off of. I'm looking at like, hey, there's this one little item, I was going to show something, but I don't want to give out my inventory. But I also like, I actually gone back to TJ Maxx and Marshalls because, there's like, you got to look and see like what are people cult followings. There's a lot of cult followings of people that follow certain brands, and you just have to know what works for you. And, know, hey, this is something I'm willing to go through and all that stuff. And, if you have to find SDS sheets or, now we have to do like the CPC, what is the paperwork, the child product
Yep,
kit.
You're right, CPCs.
Yeah. Knowing, on, what is it? I think it's like crayons and like also to the
lunch boxes.
Lunch boxes is what I was getting hit with like around, school supply time. I was like, well, this is weird. I thought it was going to be more so like the actual toys themselves. Like Squishmallows was a big one at Amazon. Mm-hmm. So I was kind of shocked that, let me not put it out there, but I'm almost done with my...
Keep that out of the universe, please.
I'm almost done with, selling all my Squishmallows. I don't really grab for those anymore.
The first video call that you and I were ever on, there was like a group call.
Yeah.
And then you panned over and you showed all of your Squishmallows. I was like, holy crap, like that's
you had a whole room filled with them.
Insanity.
Not anymore, I don't.
Just like as far as you can see, just Squishmallows.
You buy a $10 toy and it was selling for $90. It was like,
and they age well.
Yeah, and they were like, and it was so easy. You stick it in a poly bag and ship it off. You know what I mean? Like, it was like the easiest thing, and it was just like, I'll never forget, like during the holidays, like the insanity of like, I think James and I were like on the hunt for like the those Fuzzmallows, the Gwendolyn or whatever it was, right?
Yeah.
Those things were like turning
good.
at like 120 at one point.
Yeah, it was that one, Philip, and there was another one.
Yeah.
Philip the horse, right?
Did y'all sell Danny, the blue one from Target?
I sold a bunch of those, yeah.
The blue Bigfoot?
Yeah.
I killed with that one.
Yeah. Not anymore. Those days are over. When you start seeing a store that has an influx of them everywhere and they're not moving, like Walgreens, right? Used to go and get them at Walgreens. Yeah. The manager at Walgreens knows me very well, and he goes, we can't even get rid of these, even at 75% off.
Yep. Yeah.
Give me 99% off. Maybe we'll talk.
Yeah.
Even then, I don't want them.
I would do it. I would do it.
It depends on what they are, though, because like if it's like sometimes the Hug Me's do very well, but I've kind of like with those, I like to stay in the 12 inches or like the 14 inches or lower. The bigger, I used to have those big, massive ones that were like the Costco size.
Yeah, those are huge.
Yeah, it's not anymore.
A good new topic from this is Stacy says opinions on selling Fugglers, the new Squishmallow. I am new to Walmart and saw IPs on Amazon for the brand. Thoughts on IP stuff with Fugglers?
For me, like Fugglers has been like hit or miss. It just depends on which ones you. I typically only buy those when they go on clearance, unless it's like a hot ticket item. But I just feel like even when I bought like the what is it, Teenage Ninja Mutant Turtle ones, it took like 7 months for them to actually like, because when I bought them they were like full price, and I was like, oh, let me list these. It didn't like move at all, and then all of a sudden, when everybody was off the listing, then my stuff started selling. So I just think that you have to be very cautious about like what you're purchasing and seeing if it's something that you want to, you know, sell or not.
Yeah, and as far as the IP stuff, whenever I've listed Fugglers on Walmart, it gives me an error, and so I don't sell them on. Yeah, I get an error on every Fuggler product. It's not a gated thing either.
I have so much Fuggler listed.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, maybe I should revisit that. But you know,
listing that you're on, because some of these individuals are making these weird, like, they spell it differently, like Fugglers. They'll put FUG-G, like, you know, these people that are making them.
I've seen that. Yeah.
You know, so maybe you're on one of their wonky listings, and you know.
I just assumed I could. I haven't even revisited it. I have a ton of Fugglers, like
the
at the store.
Batman ones. Like it's IP because of DC and Batman, so it's not even because it's Fuggler.
Yeah,
it's because it's Batman.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, because I had to have my VA make a listing for the 4-pack. I like ended up selling one of those, and then I gave up on the rest because it's just like not moving.
Yeah. To answer your question, Stacy, my advice on IP stuff: if you see something that makes you nervous, move on to the next product. There's lots and lots of stuff that that's not going to give you that feeling. For that one specifically, I sell it on Amazon, and I would sell it on Walmart. It sounds like these guys do. Yeah. So take that for absolutely nothing, because if your business goes under, from an IP complaint, that's on you. So be as careful as you feel you need to be.
I'm always and delete them so that they don't come back to haunt you later.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
IP alert, they're green checks, Keepas, all of the Keepas I've seen, there's some weird drops, but I don't think it's IP. I think it's, so like, if you look at the Superman one, it went from 76 to 64 on May 13th, but it's not like a 76 to 0, right?
Yeah.
So it kind of looks like an IP, but it might not necessarily be an IP, and there's like 3 of those.
That's a bunch of guys that bought one, and they all sold overnight.
Potentially potentially a gating issue, which we all know is a thing right now. You could buy something, be free and clear to sell it on Amazon, and the next minute be gated, so it could be that. I personally have sold a lot of Fugglers recently on Amazon with no issues. I sell them on Walmart, no issues. But take it with a grain of salt. If you're uncomfortable with it, don't sell it.
Yeah, for sure.
Be selective, because only certain styles are good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Is it hard to list things you made on Walmart? I think Economical is asking to create listings. That's a great question. I've yet to make a listing ever. So like, how hard is that?
I mean, I had to hire a VA because I got tired of doing them. But, I mean, I don't think it's that difficult. You just have to make sure you have the information on the specific item. Obviously, you got to make the bullet points on, like, what is going to, keywords that are going to entice someone to purchasing the item, or even searching it on the actual, thing. And I think there's a minimum of 4 photos that you need of the item.
Depends on the category, but yes.
But it seems like most of mine are 4 photos, but you got to be specific. If it's got, like, if you're selling like beauty products or food, you got to make sure you put all the ingredients, that specific stuff on there. So.
Like 10 minutes or like 45 minutes to make a listing?
For me, like 5.
Yeah. For me, it's like around 5 to 10 minutes, depending.
So it's just an annoying thing, yeah. The reason I genuinely have never made a listing, and I don't plan to either. I just
the first couple times I think it was a little bit more tricky, because like and the good thing about Walmart, it'll tell you if you're forgetting something, like you need to add something in there and all that. But if you're creating your own listing, you also have to make sure that you're obviously not using the SKU that's on the box. You have to actually make one with your own SKU that you have to purchase from a company that is the recycled SKUs.
Yeah. Yeah, we could probably do a whole thing on that.
I'll leave that
sometime.
one to James.
Yeah.
If you're good with spreadsheets, making listings is super easy, especially if you're making a lot of the same thing. So if you have 10 Hot Wheels cars and you want to make a listing for 10 of these, I can do that in about 20 minutes. Because with the spreadsheet, all the data is the same. It's just the title and the SKU is different, and maybe like the character, but all the dimensions are the same. The descriptions are likely going to be the same or similar. Shout out ChatGPT for doing all that for me. So it kind of depends how technically savvy you are, because the more comfortable you are with Excel, the easier Walmart will be. For those of you who don't do Walmart or Amazon, eBay obviously is a one-by-one process, but they also have bulk creation for drafts in eBay too. So that's something, you have an opportunity for that too. So
for those of us good with spreadsheets, nerd alert. Nobody's good with spreadsheets, bro. It's just you. It's just you.
Shout out to all my ABA homies. That's all I can say.
Hey, I was going to say a second ago, I ran into in person Amy Carducci that was on our podcast like 6 episodes ago. She's in my area. If I drive away, I'm in her area, I guess is a better way to say it. But I ran into her and her husband in person. So shout out Amy and Danny. So it was good to meet them. Okay, let's hit some of these comments right quick.
What's your favorite software for Walmart, guys?
I'll let y'all go first.
I just ditched Martyr. I couldn't take it no more.
Did you?
Yeah,
is it because of the slow scan on?
Yeah. Too slow, and it was like I didn't feel like the information was accurate. I don't know. Could be wrong.
It's an estimation, right?
Yeah.
Like they can only pull so much data.
I think when you're used to using Keepa and you're used to using Amazon and getting like real-time information, it's such a struggle sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I use Martyr and Nepeto and Histomart pretty regularly, and so like those are all from the same company. Histomart is super cool, so that would probably be my answer. But my other answer is like don't use an excuse that you don't have those softwares. Like with Walmart, the subscription is free. If you have an LLC, just make a Walmart account. Just trust me on this. Do that like right now. Just start an account. Like you need a seller account, and then from there you just use the Walmart app and then you just learn like 3 fees. You're gonna pay 8 to 15% on the referral. Just pretend it's 15%. And you'll be surprised when it's lower than that. So just off the top, you're going to pay that 15%, and then you're going to pay the WFS fee, which is a minimum of $3.45, and then up to I guess as high as it goes.
Or shipping, depending on which way you're doing it.
Yeah, or shipping if you're doing FBM. But like you can do all that in your head, and then you can just use the Amazon data. And so like it's not like you need all these. So I predicted. Right when we started this podcast, it was called the Walmart Sellers Podcast, and I was like, we are about to get hammered with Walmart softwares. Like I bet before Q4 we'll have another dozen pop up, and so like hopefully they get better and better. But yeah, Walmart Martyr. What you were saying, AJ, that first scan when you're doing RA is so annoying, and then some of the data it's kind of like they kind of filled in the lines a little bit, like it's off, like for sure. Yeah. There's some stuff but they're working with what they have. It's better. It's the best one that I've found for what I use. So definitely not perfect though. But some of the other ones. What do you Sellify? Is that what you use, James?
No, I was gonna mention that though. There's a lot of people who really like Sellify, and I do believe it has like a Keepa-like graph. But for me, I use ScanPower almost exclusively now. I still have Seller Amp, and I'm curious what Walmart Amp is gonna look like. How close it's getting. Womp. I'm curious how that's gonna look like, because I would potentially keep that if they have a buy list feature and it's more visually appealing. So for those who haven't seen Scan Power, it lets you swap back and forth between Walmart and Amazon, and I like that a lot because I sell on both, right? So it's whatever. It doesn't have like the Histomart or the Sellify chart or soon to be Noah's, software.
Price Link.
Is it Price Link or Price Inc? I don't remember the name.
Shoot, did I mess it up? I think it's Price Link. Follow Noah Minkus, and you can find that out.
That's another software you can try. He's working really hard to make a Keepa for Walmart, and it's starting to look really good for that feature. Now Walmart is sharing more data now based on with how many new sellers they have and how many people that are wanting to make programs for Walmart. So I think you're right. We're going to see a lot more softwares come up, but no one has matched what Keepa is yet. Right. So we'll see. But
don't feel like you have to buy them all. Like,
yeah, you don't need it.
No,
let everybody else test them and like
app too, just to kind of.
Yeah, I did 2 years just by scanning on the Walmart app, and doing math on a calculator.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, there's a bunch of comments, so maybe we won't get all to all of them. I'm so sorry, guys. It looks like James has responded to a bunch. I like Scoutly 2 from 365. Yeah, so I haven't used that yet, but
it's Amazon only. I used to use it a lot because it makes buy lists for Amazon. So when you do your FBA, it pulls it into Inventory Lab. So it's like great. If they would add Walmart, I would love them so much, but they don't have it yet. So
yeah, I actually pay for that and don't have
Eagle,
it.
Whatever.
Yeah, I pay for that and don't use it. Which is funny. So. Still have never logged into it. I have the whole suite of tools from them. I'm a sole proprietorship on Walmart. Got in right before they changed it. Is it possible to add an LLC to it? I have no idea. I'm not sure. I'm sure it is.
I'm pretty sure you can, and I would get to that as soon as possible because who do we know that somebody got like timed out for a while.
D. Galato shared about it in the Discord. I'm not sure exactly what happened, but it was something like that.
Yeah.
So, okay, all right. So we have 12 more minutes of AJ. We have somebody who's just killing it in our space. Multi-channel seller. Are you doing eBay? What's your eBay thoughts?
So on my eBay is mostly like stuff that I can't sell on Amazon or Walmart, like that kind of stuff. Or if I know it's like, let's say I'm in, TJ Maxx, right? And I find the viral handbags that are like big right now. I'll sell those on there because I don't want to really make a listing on Walmart and have to constantly but for the most part, my main one is Walmart, and then it goes Amazon and then eBay.
Walmart, Amazon, and eBay, yeah. I think it's a real good stack.
Yeah.
Like going into the rest of this year, like from right now, I think we're going to pick up speed. We'll go into back to school season. I guess we'll have Father's Day before that, but who's buying anything for that, right? We're going to back to school season, and then from there, you're just rolling into Q3, Q4. What's your day to day? Like, what's your what's your like? I guess week to week. Like, what are your thoughts going into prepping for Q4?
I anticipate there's going to be a shortage on toys. Just because of all
I think so too.
And stuff. So I anticipate that. So I'm already thinking of like the typical stuff like Barbies, this, whatever that is
Lego.
Little people, Legos, that kind of stuff, right? I just feel like, we have to think logically, like what is it that we get from China or other countries that are charging like an astronomical tariff, right? But also too, like, are they going to stop, we're already seeing like the ports not, delivering as much and all that, and prices. I think Walmart said they were going to be increasing their pricing because of tariffs soon. I saw something last week, or maybe it was a couple days ago. But I definitely feel like toys is going to be nobody wants to have their child crying on Christmas because there's no toys. So if anything, if I had one thing to focus on in preparation for Q4, it would be trying to find, toys based on, movies, or toys based on what is our day-to-day, things that we purchase every year we all know what we sell every year around the holidays. Some of us sell the same exact crap over and over and over again, right? So we already know that those are going to be ones that we need to make sure that we're grabbing. I don't know when that time is coming, but I do know that I'm slowly building up my inventory based on stuff because we know how Walmart operates, right? They have a SKU item, the little tykes, for instance. Let's just use the little tykes, little people, whatever toys. That same box changes the SKU. That one was already on sale for $9 or $5, but that same item is on the shelf full price because they do a lot of recycling of their own UPCs as well. So why wouldn't I sell something that you know what I mean? I'm always looking at that kind of stuff too. But toys is what I'm predicting.
Yeah, that's a great answer. I think there's going to be a lot of new IP type stuff. I don't want to say the brand, but there was a brand that was like that last year. Or I guess it was last year. Maybe it was the year before. But anyways, they came out, and then there was a shortage initially because everybody rushed out and grabbed them. And so it was a hot item that people were willing to pay up to have you go out and look for it for them. And so that was great. But then the second load came in, and it just tanked the entire market on them. Couldn't make money on them at all. And so I think we're going to see some of that, but without the second load. So I think we'll have, they're going to be too scared. They're going to be too nervous to bring in, a ton of supply on some of those. So I think that'll be good. And then the other thing that I'm planning differently is I want to buy heavier on the mega sales. So Black Friday and some of those I realized that there was a product that I bought what I thought was a lot of last Black Friday, and then it never went down. It never went down to that price again, and I could have sold it profitably until now, through the entire Q4, through the entire new year. And I knew it was a good product. I knew it was a home run, and I still didn't go deep enough. And so I want to identify those type of opportunities.
And you didn't tell me.
I may have. I don't know. I'll tell you when we're up there. I bet I did tell you.
Yeah, I think also too, just being aware. I've noticed this past Easter and Valentine's Day, there seems like Walmart had 3 times the amount of crap. There was not ever any
fluff.
It was
type stuff.
Yeah. So I don't anticipate. I think that once we get through summer, we're going to start seeing less and less of certain, lots of things. They're predicting even phone chargers being low, the cords.
Really? That's
because
crazy. Wow.
Most of that stuff is made in China. You can Google it. What is the top 10 products that is made in China that are expected to be low by the end of the year? And it'll tell you this. So I'm researching every single day. Like I said, in the morning coffee, looking up stuff for an hour.
Sure.
Just to kind of gauge what is my plan. And that's the beauty about having your own business is evolving with the times and knowing, I don't spend my time, going to Ross or, whatever, but I focus on what is it that's important right this second, or what isn't going to be important in 6 months from now. And I just know Christmas is going to be, with the toys,
it's going to be a rough Q4.
Yeah.
Or it's going to be incredible for the people that are willing to go. Yeah, the people that are willing to go into stores. I think it'll be a real opportunity, and I think that they're not ready for it. These big retailers, they're going to fumble the ball. And I'm telling you right now, there's going to be huge. A couple years ago when there was the millennial monopoly, we talked about it on another episode. But I think there's going to be millennial monopoly type opportunities this Q4 where everybody wants something and they only made 10,000 of them or something. And I think there's going to be it sells out immediately online. And so the only people who are going to be able to, pick up the, slack there it's going to be people like us that are willing to go in and go Walmart to Walmart and kiss managers' butts and, you know, and hunt them down. So
I just think
Us
it's gonna
dirty
be
little
ruthless.
scalpers.
Yeah. I think it's going to be ruthless. You know how like it's kind of like Black Friday's been like kind of where you could like peruse in and not have to worry about fighting people. I think not this year. I just have a feeling it's going to go back to like 10 some years ago where people like are stampeding over stuff because the amount of products that are going to be available are going to be very, you know, minuscule compared to the amount of individuals that are out there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could see Black Friday being like we're getting towards the end of the year, and people need these companies do what?
Like Pokemon cards.
Well, I was just gonna say I think that some of these companies they want a bottom line profit, and so they need cash, and so I think that you're gonna see some of those like $14 toys that they're clearing out for $3.74 because they just need to get, you know, sales to show on paper. It could go the other way too. They could hold on to stuff and not sell as much. You know, who can predict the future? But you know, if you're operating on a 24-hour or a 3-day schedule like us, where it's like at any given time we could do a statewide trip looking for fugglers or little people or whatever, you know, that doesn't really matter. We'll be ready for whatever comes. So.
But the good beauty thing is about, you know, constantly buying from Walmart is being able to go into whatever group somebody is in, if they have it or not, but being able to search, that has saved me so much time and energy, not going to a Walmart hoping to find something and then coming out empty-handed, or going to a store that has like 12 or 100 of the items, you know?
You mean like the stock checker?
Yeah.
Yeah, the stock checkers. Did you see the new thing? Have you played with it yet?
Yeah.
I'm so there is a momentum in the Bolo Club that I haven't felt in years. I just got out of the car coming from vacation, so we spent like 6 hours in the car, and I was like playing with the thing, and it's like you press one button, and then it tells you every store and how much stock they have and whatever, and I'm like, holy crap! Like this $500 computer is marked down to $200, and it tells me exactly what shelf it's on and where it's located. It's like, that's amazing! Like I have something, you know, like I have found another way to find good inventory, and like. They say, the person that I'm paying to do that, they say that it's like 1,000 leads a month. So we're gonna see if they actually do that. But yeah, I'm pumped
No,
about
that's
it.
like the best. I mean, I use that thing. I was joking one time with James. I'm like, did they see what I'm searching? Because I really don't want anybody getting my SKUs that I'm looking up.
Nobody sees it. I can't even see it. Or if I can see it, I don't know how.
You do? Okay.
James, you can see it, James?
You can see the top 10 things searched. It's just a command.
Oh my gosh, I've been telling people I can't see it. I can't see it because I don't know how to see it.
Yeah, I know how to see it.
No, I'm going to get my own
well.
company.
It's just between you and James, I guess.
No, I don't chase like that. So
I don't chase it. Yeah, whatever, man.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't.
That's hilarious.
I don't. I hardly use the stock checker.
Every time I've asked you, you told me
the...
nobody can see it. Now you tell the truth.
I genuinely didn't know.
Not you. I was asking James.
No, because I figured it out after that conversation that but it's not who searched it. It's just the top 10 searched items.
Yeah, but I search every minute. I'm like on there
yeah.
with all my lists.
Yeah, I got timed out today. It's like you have to wait a few minutes. Like, oh crap.
I'm looking at my notes ready to go with the thing already programmed with my zip code, already ready to go with the SKU, so I know what I'm checking every day.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Let's see. Let me scan through here and see if there's any great comments that we want to put on here. Oh shoot, there's still people commenting. This is amazing. This is exactly what James. This is amazing. This is exactly what we need to be doing. This is it.
You're very excited about this.
I'm so excited. This is exactly what I envisioned. Okay, all right.
I have to figure out how to do this command again now. Like scrolling up in the
I haven't used it since this morning, so good luck.
All right, let's see. I've been watching all your episodes religiously. It's just been an inspiration. I love that. That's amazing. He says he or she, I'm not sure, says that they exclusively go to Facebook looking for video games to flip. I'm assuming as used on.
That's the best thing.
I found it. Ha! Sorry.
Are you talking about the top 10 SKUs still?
Yeah.
Okay, don't post that in the chat. Let's keep that.
No,
private.
I'm not.
Anyways, and don't tell me how to do that. I don't want to know.
I'm gonna start putting random ones in there just.
Have your VA search the random stuff every day to mess the.
I'm gonna look up diapers. I'm gonna look up other stuff so that you can.
That's funny.
I have an eBay win, so this has nothing to do with the 25 to 50 that we're actually talking about. But last week or the week before, I was talking about how much I hated eBay, and so I went to this garage sale, as I do, and they had these Barbie. That'd be a great T-shirt. I don't chase like that. They had these Barbies for sale. And so I was like, holy crap. I recently bought a big vintage Barbie collection in the store, and I made some content on that. Well, so it caught my eye because I know some of these Barbies, they go crazy. Yeah. Well, I ended up buying all of them. I was just going to buy them for the store. They had them at $5 a piece. I negotiated. It ended up being $130 for like, I don't know, 50 Barbies or something. Like I came out really good, just basic. Well, today, coming back from vacation, I sold one Barbie for $180, and it paid for the entire thing. And now all the rest of this, I listed some of the other ones on eBay too, but all the rest of them are just free inventory for the store. And so, as much as we talk about Amazon and Walmart and love it, always be looking for that opportunity. Like
But I hate eBay.
I really hate eBay.
If you had a VA, you could have your VA make your listings for you. Put all your Barbies on there. I
have a team of VAs for the group, and they do almost exclusively group stuff. But I need a person. I need to hire one. You've inspired me.
That was the best thing that I ever did for myself, because I was struggling to figure out how to shop, how to ship, how to do WFS, how to do whatever. When I tell you, like, it's so wonderful. Like, he's looking at my stuff to make sure, like, my pricing is right. Is it in, like, does it change keywords? Oh, we got errored out. Let me make a different listing and change the verbiage around. Like, he's making sure that we're, buy box, flipping around.
That's amazing. Yeah.
Yeah.
I need that. I could afford a personal, like, full-time that just works for me, not for the, the other stuff, looking up leads and whatnot.
It's the best. I mean, I literally struggled for a while trying to find someone, and I feel like I found my perfect person. So
he's good.
Yeah.
He's good.
It's amazing.
And I got a really good deal.
Yeah.
So, I mean, like, when I mean really good deal, like, he works very well with me. He knows, like, hey, he's researching. Like, when you have your people doing it for your group, I actually have someone that is doing it and treating, like, it as our company together. So he's actually finding leads as well and saying, hey, look at this, buy this, do this. So that's makes me feel good, because it's like I feel like I'm in a partnership.
Yeah. We could definitely do a whole series on VAs, because, like, I've hired a bunch, like, multiple dozen probably, and you're dealing with people, and some people suck, some people are just terrible, and
that's the problem. But, like, I mean, mine's pretty quick, and, like, just building my listings is, like, the best thing ever, because that to me was just too much.
Yeah, the ones that you find that are, like, just top tier, like, overpay them, be the best working back to them too, and, like, long term it's a win. Like, it's a huge win-win when you find the right people. So, and also fire the losers fast. Fire them so fast. Like, hey, this isn't working out, and however you go about that with your contract. But, like, some of them are, like, they're, like, you can get in trouble. The people who say I'll never hire a VA again, I only work with blah blah blah, it's like, you just didn't find the right person. No. Like, you're dealing with people, and there's great people, and then there's terrible people. James needs a VA.
5 or 6 of them.
I do.
Till I found.
Did you?
I need one bad.
I tried to give you one, but nobody wants the other one. But yeah.
Well, I think that's a great place to end the call. Do we get any last thoughts? Let's see. A great T-shirt. We do need Arbitrage Radio T-shirts, but is the moment we make a T-shirt, we're gonna change the name again. So
we're gonna change the name.
Yeah. So, anyways, on that, On that note, AJ, thank you so much. This was so much fun, and you don't want anybody to follow you on social media, so I won't.
Not that. I'm
call
very
you.
well, you guys know, mine's mostly my family. Nobody knows that I do this, and I think that makes it better because it's like I can see everybody else and what they're doing, and it's like I stick by the phrase, I like to hustle in silence, and I'm hustling it. So
Making content is probably one of the smartest things I've ever done, and I just did it because someone told me to. But it's also a huge distraction to my main business.
I just don't want the negativity either. So you know what I mean?
Yeah. You start making content, you get that crap every day.
No, I'm good.
We're a hated profession, so.
Yeah. See, and even amongst ourselves, some of it's like there was something that happened this week with a big seller, and some of the stuff I saw is brutal.
Drama.
Yeah, it's great. I can't imagine saying that about
selling all his equipment. Yeah, I saw something.
Yeah, it's wild. So, anyways, with all that said, thank you for everybody watching us. 9 people watching us all the way through.
Thank you.
Love you guys. Thank you so much. Yeah.
Heart hands.
Yeah. We gotta set a thing. Thank you, everybody. All right.
Bye-bye.
Bye.